Hopefully everybody's read the minutes. Ask for a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Schaefer, Mr. Jernigan, thank you a lot. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We're moving forward. Number 2, investment report. Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Chairman. Jordan. Bearer of a little bad news and bearer of a little good news. How's that, Commissioner?
That sounds great.
The LGIP rate is 0.07, which is not the good news, but the better news is we had 2 bids since our last meeting, and we had 6 banks bid, which is more interest than we've seen in months and months and months. And one of our bids went, they both went for a year to Franklin Synergy, and one of them at 50 basis points and the other one at 46. So better than we've had in, like I say, months and months.
They just got some good advertising right there, because that's hard to get these days.
Yeah.
So they stepped up.
You ask them what their savings rate was?
I didn't get there. It is interesting. I'll pass this on because I think it is a sign. In past times, we have had banks that were interested and won't know checking when we would have idle funds available for bid, and then we went through months and months where nobody asked, and really hoped we wouldn't see it on the bid list. Not to be, it was just where, and we are back where in the last 2 months we've had some folks who actually asked to kind of get a schedule of what we had maturing. They had some interest, which I think is a good sign for us.
Now, that was the good news.
Well, the bad news was the 0.07
Okay,
LGIP
all right.
right. No, nothing. No, what? The other shoe will not drop.
Okay.
Move to approve the investment report.
Motion to approve the report. And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you a lot, Mr. Beatty.
Thank you, sir.
Fund condition report. Ms. Nolan.
Okay, we'll start with the development tax. At the end of September, we received $308,250. Brings our total for the year up to $630,750. It's about $256,000 less than what we received last year at this point. Our budget for the entire year is $2,450,000. On our cash, the end of September, we had $152,502,000, with $135,839,000 being operating funds, $16,663,000 being borrowed funds. One item of note, there is a decrease comparing cash to cash on the debt service fund, and what happened last year, we made the debt payment on September 30th, and this year we made it October 1, so that's what you're seeing. The difference will sync back up at the end of next month.
Any questions on the cash balances?
Moving to revenue, just overall, while we're reporting at end of September, for us really it's only 2 months worth of revenue with the way that we close our books. So not a whole lot to tell with only 2 months. So I just provided for your information, but
No smiley
next month-
faces or
no,
frowny faces.
I'm not putting anything on there till next month. A little bit, at least 3 months worth of data to look at.
Any questions for Ms. Nolan?
Motion to approve the report.
Approved, Commissioner P. Thank you.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Bond. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Risk management, Ms. Street. I did get that right, didn't I?
Yes, sir, you
Okay.
did.
Still in training.
Thank you. We'll look at Fund 264 for the month of September to begin. In the month of September, for our self-funded claims, our per employee per month was $978 compared to prior year of $929. Combining the on-site medical clinic, our experience increases to per employee per month cost of $1,013 compared to prior year of $961. As Ms. Nolan said, we're still early on in the fiscal year, so we're not too worried about seeing the increase at this particular juncture. For Fund 266, the month of September, we were at 177,421 compared to prior year of 127,341 for another increase compared to past year. And we're still around the 14 claims on the workers' comp side that are currently open.
Any questions on either of those reports?
Motion to approve the reports.
Thank you, Commissioner Fee. Have a second. Mr. Schaefer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving right along. Got a budget amendment.
This amendment is to increase our liability insurance by $10,000 to cover the government auxiliary officers and firefighters' liability that was inadvertently left out of the budget.
But this is no surprises.
It's no
This is
surprise we
just
do it every year.
housekeeping. Any questions or a motion?
How much of that is for the firefighters, just to get an idea of that increase?
I mean, it's the same amount that we paid last year.
So it's not an increase?
It's not an
Okay.
increase. I mean, the bill that came in is the
So
same.
it's almost about half and half. It's pretty close. I think it's like 5,200 and 4,800 for 5,200 for firefighters, and 48 for, no, opposite. 52 for fire police and
Correct.
4,800 for firefighters.
But this isn't anything new. This just inadvertently
No,
got left out of the
Right.
budget last year, so.
What's an auxiliary officer?
It would be somebody that runs with the sheriff's department. You know, they're
volunteers.
yeah, they're volunteers.
Sheriff's Department has a volunteer? They give them guns? Don't they?
They get the same equipment as we do, just for protection.
I didn't know we did that. That sounded like a good program. Keep the citizens involved. We need a motion.
Make a motion approved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Bond. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No, but that money, that is money. Roll call vote. isn't it?
Call vote on the budget amendment.
See,
Commissioner
I'm
Bond?
in training.
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes. Appreciate you taking care of me on that one. See, we're ready for ambulance service, I believe.
Okay, they've got two amendments. The first one is a cleanup on the payroll, and it's moving $454 from the paraprofessional to the county official
If the
payroll.
committee doesn't mind, can we take both these as one vote?
That's a cleanup.
Mhm.
The second amendment is to provide additional funding to renovate the old Pace building, and we're asking $100,000 to complete that project based on the estimates that the architects have shown.
And where is that money coming from?
It's coming from the ambulance funds assigned for fund balance.
So it's coming from their own budget, their own balances.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve, have a second?
I'll second it. So that makes total on this, what, 350,000?
350.
For the renovations that which we're required to do, the renovations to keep the property on.
Yeah, we have to do that, and then once we get that completed and we get moved out of that house we're in, we'll move the administration over there, but we'll have to keep the ambulance services until we build another station. That's the second step that's required within a 2-year period. This is the first step.
Ready? Call the roll?
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes. Next, we have an authorization to apply for an Assistance to Firefighters grant, I believe. Is that what's
No,
next?
no, this one's not yours.
It's not mine.
This one is a request of the ambulance service to apply for an assistance to firefighters grants for stretchers.
for stretchers.
That-
You say fire department, he's coming to the table.
Yeah, I thought.
Well, we're gonna apply for it this time too, we always do.
But it's,
Yeah.
it's the same type of grant, but it's for a different purpose for the, this one is.
Move to approve.
Motion approved, do we have a second?
And there is a 20% estimated match on that grant.
This would buy 20 power stretchers. Everything we've got now is manual. And so this would, if this grant were awarded, we'd have 20 stretchers and automatically lift, with the battery power.
Which would help the paramedics and EMTs with their back injuries.
Second.
Motion and a second, Mr. Jernigan?
Who was the motion?
Schaefer.
But they did, the ambulance service did send us, at least on public safety, I know they send us statistics from other places that have gone to these power lifts, and they saved way more in strains, back injuries, and this kind of thing than it costs to buy these, and these are much more efficient also.
That's one of the biggest causes of the EMTs and paramedics having to lose their job because of the back injuries and because they're always lifting. That's what they do all day long.
Well, it's usually 2 people, and they're lifting a person plus the stretcher. And the stretcher probably weighs 100 pounds in itself,
Yeah.
or close to it.
70, 80 pounds.
Yeah. And so
Well, I have been called as a volunteer to help them, assist them, remove people, that it took 6 of us to pick them up.
Yeah.
And so I can see the need there. I was hesitant about going with it, waiting to hear what the match was.
It's a 20% match. Right.
They were gonna have to, they
That's
were
what
gonna
the
have to buy
estimate is.
something anyhow.
I think it's not coming out until November,
Right.
right?
I think that's what he said.
The actual
Public
grant.
safety.
The grant.
And we'll get a chance to look at
Application
it
period.
again, so
Right.
if it comes through.
Yeah, this is just applying. If it turns out to be too expensive, we could always reject it if we saw fit.
And when would we find out? You said November?
November's when is the notice to apply.
So we won't submit until after that, so
It'd
it
be
could be
anywhere from
months, it could be
8
six
months
or
to a
8
year.
months after that before you know.
Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan? Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Fire and rescue.
We got a budget amendment tonight to move $8,000 out of evaluation, out of vehicle and maintenance repair, $8,000 from that to move into the evaluation and testing, which is our training budget. We've had an opportunity to provide a lot of training first this year because of the way the classes fell. We've done an emergency medical class. We've done 2 advanced extrication classes. We've done 1 rookie school and basic extrication. We've had several go through firefighter survival, and we've actually had these were volunteers and the paid, and I've had opportunity because of paid personnel to give them a higher level of training. I've sent 2 people to pump school, and I've got 2 guys in officer school at this time.
Any questions of the chief?
You're gonna have enough money left in your maintenance and repair vehicles?
Yes, we've been doing some maintenance in-house. Solid Waste has got a full-time mechanic, and he's been saving us a lot of money on our preventative maintenance. We had a bid of $8,800 to replace some parts on the back of our tanker, and he was able to do it for $700.
Keep this guy around.
Yes, we must.
We're saving a lot
Saving-
of labor.
Saving a lot of money within solid waste as well.
That's good.
We just now need, I'll just go ahead and pitch this out. We need to keep on our journey of trying to find a permanent location with a building that we can put equipment inside of and work on it. So we'll keep that in mind if you would allow us to do that.
Also, I'll throw this out here. Mac was kind enough to send this guy to Florida, so he's certified in pumps too. And that's the biggest expense on a fire truck, as Commissioner P. well knows, so he can also work on our pumps. So we're making big strides in saving money in-house.
going to see a reduction in your budget next year, right?
Well, that's suit me as long as we keep them running.
A pump impeller is $4,000 sometimes, so
And also, we got an aging fleet that we're trying to update too, but.
you need a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, and Commissioner Schaefer, thank you very much. Any further discussion? All roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Sheriff's Department. I think they would magically appear. There they are. A, approval of general fund budget amendments.
Good evening.
I'm glad to having her instead of Joe Russell in here.
He's on vacation for fall break.
So is half the people in there, I know.
Yes.
Okay, we're ready to start the amendments.
Yes, ma'am.
The first one is requesting remaining donated funds for the Vegetable Garden, Memorial Garden, Explorers, and Shop with the Sheriff and Scan, and in-service training funds that's dispatchers in 196 from the 13-14 year that was not included in the 14-15 year.
Y'all want to take all this as one motion, or do we need to break it up? That's not one.
The next one can go with
The
it.
next one can go
too.
sheriff, we can't do sheriff, we can do the sheriff's part on that.
Okay. The next one, my understanding, it's in the budget process about the changing of the salaries. It's supposed to have been out of detention side, and it was changed on the sheriff's side. So these are just salary changes between the two.
And that was the moving from a lieutenant to a captain. It was budgeted on the sheriff's side, but it occurred on the jail side.
So there's no change in money, actually total, it's just put in a different,
Yeah, we're getting the money right to follow the person.
in the right
In
category.
the jail side instead of the sheriff's side.
Just the housekeeping.
Yeah, okay. And the next one is to recognize revenue and request approval for the governor's highway
But,
safety.
wait a minute, let's do these
Yeah.
amendments.
I don't even see that one. No, it's on the next one.
It's the next one.
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
these two right
Okay.
now, if we can get any further questions or a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion approved, Commissioner Jernigan,
Second.
Commissioner Baum, thank you.
This money that we're pulling out of unassigned fund balance is actually money that they
Those
had put in
It's
from, leftover from last year.
grants, it's those monies that are grants and contributions that well,
Is
the
donate.
grant was the communications one, the other one are donations
Right.
specific to those
grants.
programs that they're rolling forward.
These are the things in the last public safety meeting you were in before the switch.
In August.
Yeah, in August.
Okay.
Everybody ready? Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Okay, the next one is recognize the revenue and requesting approval for the GHSO grant 1415. It's a reimbursable grant into overtime with related benefits and law enforcement equipment.
This is nothing new, this is something we do every year.
Every
correct?
year. I think it's October to October.
And this is, the request is for the amendment, and then the grant document is behind is to accept the grant.
So if somebody feels willing to make a motion, make it to accept and the grant request the grant.
Any matching funds on any of this?
No.
It's 100%.
Motion to approve and to give the correct authorities the right to sign off on them.
Commissioner P,
Second.
second Commissioner Jernigan, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sorry,
Right?
I got in a hurry.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Same results anyway.
Okay, the next is a special purpose. It's recognizing revenue from the forfeiture funds, $448, moving to the expense of confidential line item 319.
Any questions? I couldn't tell you anyway. If you asked.
Move to approve.
Mr. Schaefer, thank you.
Second.
Mr. Baum. Further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
The next is the drug fund. It's requesting funds from the drug control restricted for public safety into various expense accounts in the drug fund.
Motion to approve. Second.
Just speaking for myself, I appreciate y'all using those funds as best you can for stuff that doesn't necessarily have to be tax dollars going to. You know, we've asked you to do that in the past, and it looks like y'all are doing it, and personally, I appreciate it. We've got a motion, Commissioner P. and Commissioner Schaefer, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Thank y'all a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bring her more often.
Is that your new uniform you got
This
on?
is the class. No, I won't go into that. Class J. Get with me afterwards. I'll tell you what it means.
Approval of
Those
Justice
Levi's
Program-
are part of it?
Yeah.
Approval of Justice Program Grant Memorandum of Understanding with Volunteer Behavioral Health and related budget amendment for Correctional Work Center. And you're doing this for Mr.
Yes,
Slandy, correct?
yes, yes. The county's been awarded the Office of Justice Program Grant under the 2013 Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Program, Planning and Implementation. It's a 2-year grant that will fund treatment and re-entry with a collaborative contract with the volunteer behavioral health care system, and it covers travel and training. The total project does include in-kind cost of $29,494 per year, but that is going to be provided at the Correctional Work Center by office space and classroom space for the intensive treatment program and re-entry services. And so we're asking to approve the budget amendment, $117,978 for the revenue, and then contracts with private agencies, $107,058. Travel, $6720, office supplies, $4,200, followed by the acceptance of the grant. And then lastly, the last 2 pages is the memorandum of agreement. We updated the memorandum with the Volunteer Behavioral Sense or the Guidance Center. And we just kind of cleaned it up and it had some more specific language in it to what the expectations are on how many hours that they will provide services and how they will be billed.
So we need a motion for the budget transfer, to accept the grant, and the amendment to the memorandum of understanding.
Yes.
Does this allow us to give treatments to inmates that on an outpatient type or out of corrective?
My understanding is all there.
I think it's just for those that are internal.
They're all in-house. It doesn't allow for
coming back.
People that are out and coming in.
I don't think
Well,
so.
what I was saying is, instead of having them incarcerated, they could go through these treatments. Mental health is a large problem with a lot of the inmates that we've got. That's part of the reason they're there. So I'm in favor of doing this. I'm just hoping that it goes a little further than what I'm seeing.
Well, it says personnel on site at Correctional Work Center to include a therapist and a case manager, adequately trained in evidence-based interventions and post-incarceration recovery services. So that would be afterwards. So some of these will start in there and then they'll continue to come back. It appears just from that one little sentence I found there.
I don't mind making a motion to approve it, and do you want a second motion at the same time for the other?
I think
We can do it all as one
One
motion.
motion approves
It's
the
all
budget.
related.
And you approved the memorandum of agreement. I mean, that was all part of the package when we applied.
Right,
All that
so
was
it's
one
already done.
package.
But they made some
We're
modifications
just
to sort of
approving
clarify.
amendment to that, yeah. approve the amendment to the memorandum of
I'll add that to my motion to, and to also approve the amendment.
Is that a second, Commissioner Schaefer?
Yep, that'll be a second.
Are these in-kind contributions that we make in the form of office space and classrooms, are those real expenses, or is that just the value
I
of
mean,
what
it-
we're providing, but we've got this
To
space
me,
anyway?
one, it is a real expense, otherwise they would have had to pay to provide, have that house somewhere
Somewhere
else.
else.
But it's space that we have.
We have the space, it's available, and we just have to schedule its use.
Mhm.
They get the utilities to go along
And
with
the
it.
utilities we already paid.
The lights are already on in that building, in that room probably anyway, but
Otherwise, it'd probably have some kind of matching, 10 or 20% of it.
But that's how we're meeting the match on the grant, is providing the space. And the guidance centers provide the personnel. But the grant will flow through the county and we'll pay monthly.
any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes?
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Educational Capital Projects Funds. Imagine that, Jeff Allen's here.
It's
Welcome.
good to be back in our meetings. Our first amendment is our annual amendment to basically re-budget for the projects that hadn't been completed in Fund 177, our Educational Capital Projects Fund. And we are asking to take $470,570 out of fund balance, and these monies went into fund balance at June 30 for the projects that were not completed June 30, so we can, well, we've been working on completing them, so we'll have money freed up for our new projects in that fund this year. Do this one every year.
Do we take these on at once, or is this the only one?
Or we would take it separate,
Yeah.
they're separate funds.
Second approved, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Schaefer. Thank you. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes?
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
The second amendment is a Fund 189, and I put 177 because when I reported to the state, I have to report it as 177.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I still was in state reporting mode when I put that together, having just finished that a couple of days before. But if it's all right with y'all, I'll give you the abbreviated version because you're used to shared funds. I was explaining it to our new board members. So we are cleaning up the line item expenditures for 3 of our projects. $76,849 for the Blackman Middle Annex, $203,784 for the Smyrna Primary Edition, and $1,302,286 for the Eagleville Phase 1 project. No new funds are involved in any of these amendments. Cleaning up line items, moving money between the 2 Eagleville projects since we started with Phase 2, and then moving the money to the lines where, best estimate at this point, we will be expending it. And we will still be amending Stewart's Creek High, and well, we'll probably have minor amendments in these other, and of course in the Eagleville Phase 1 edition. The second part, and we're doing this to keep the shared funds straight and leave a good audit trail in the way we're moving them, is moving $415,867 from the Stewart's Creek High School project to the Blackman Middle Annex project. And most or all of these funds may well be moved to our next middle school project or middle school land at a later date, but we wanted a clear audit path there. Anything else on that?
Eagleville to Eagleville.
Yeah, and then the third one is moving $200,849 from our completed Eagleville Phase 2 addition to the current Eagleville Phase 1 addition. And by, I remember what I was going to say on the B portion, that saves us about 74,000 in borrowed funds by doing the amendment this way. If we had to borrow new money, because we did do some transfers from GPS fund balance, just optimizing the mix of our money there.
You want to read the recommended motion, or is that, are we good enough right there?
I think we're fine. Yeah.
I think y'all got a gist of it. Any questions?
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Jernigan,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Baum. Any further questions? Let's get carryover money to a great extent. Call the roll. Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
And just, Mark asked me on these, we had some discussion on the Smyrna primary edition. It is our hope that that deficit we will be able to cover from the contingency funds on Smyrna primary. If by
Oh, I
chance we
see.
don't
I see.
have it there, we'll do something in GP to
Okay.
cover it.
Once all the, we
Yeah.
close out and then make everything
Yes.
final?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you,
Salmon?
Commissioners.
Domestic violence. I
Okay.
guess you're doing that too?
I'll do that one.
All right.
Just to give a summary, the courts collect fees for victim assistance, and those monies have been used every year to fund the domestic violence program, Monique Tillage's program. Every year, we're adding to the reserve because they're not spending all those monies, and we've been doing this for several years, to where the balance is about $500,000 in that restricted account now. So Monique has gone back and looked through what could she do to improve her program and to use these funds for the victims. And so there's two parts to this, and the first one is to move a part-time person to full-time to give more hours available to the victims. And that's what this first amendment is showing, and that's using $13,620 of the reserve for victims assistance and budgeting it into a full-time salary, also taking dollars from the part-time. So this amendment would reduce that balance by $13,620. The rest of it would be put into 189 and then the related benefits. That's the first one. The second thought to use.
Lisa, before you go on, will they be able to maintain this full-time person at their cost?
Yeah, because we're adding every year to that
More money every
reserve.
year, so.
Okay.
And so, yeah, they, with the monies they get on a yearly basis, they'll be able to cover this
I understand.
additional.
So it's just, Monique has just been herself full-time and 2 part-time, that's all we've had in there. So
Right.
this is gonna be Monique plus 1 full-time plus 1 part-time.
The second,
Take a vote on this
oh,
one,
you want to take a
or-
vote? Okay,
You want to
go
vote
ahead.
on separately?
Since one's a
They're
nonprofit,
kind
one's
of-
one's
yeah.
a budget amendment, and one's a
One,
nonprofit
yeah,
amendment.
one thing is, this one is an existing
Department amendment.
department, and the other one has to do with an outside agency.
A contribution to an outside agency.
Well, we either need a motion or any other questions on the first part.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Commissioner P, thank you.
Second.
Commissioner Baum? Further questions? Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Okay, the second part, and because we were using, we started using these funds to help fund the Domestic Violence Program Inc., which is a nonprofit. You know, when you go through the budget, we do all those nonprofits. This one is always listed. We looked at that to say, what can we do for this program and help them to use those funds? And you may want to talk more about it.
Well, we're, as you well know, we're giving them money even now, I think $31,500 a year. And most of you know that they do have a shelter. They have a place. I mean, they don't, it's sort of a confidential location, but they do take women and children there that are in difficult circumstances until they can get an order of protection or till they can get them through the court process. So they have very limited funds. They're operating a very meager operation. So we asked them, what do they think they could use that would help improve and expand their program and make it more responsive? And they've got some part-time help, and they've got a few full-time people, but they want to put a full-time person that can help issue these orders of protection and help guide these people in their course of process before they actually get to court. And then when they do get to court, they want to stay with them and follow with them, especially in the circuit court process. So again, it's just a way to reach out to these people that are suffering domestic violence of one sort or the other. And we do have the funds. And again, the answer to the same question, we can do this plus what we're doing to improve our own part that we're servicing over here with the assistant DA, and we're actually funding that position too for domestic violence. So this just expands our role in something that we're reading more and more about every day, and we have the capacity. We just think it's a good thing for us to do.
And this money can't be used for anything else.
No
This money
other
is
purpose.
being brought in through that type of, through the courts for this use, and so, in my opinion, it's bad if we let it, too much of it build up. It needs to be out there helping those
I was a bit
people.
negligent, and when Lisa told me how much this was growing, I said, let's just see if they can use some additional help.
Well, it's kind of amazing that the fines get paid as much as
Yeah.
they do to me, that I would think it would be pretty low.
You know, we've been very conservative, just because when this first started, the fines, the state said, you know, put this on. You really didn't have a track record.
Yeah.
How much was it going to generate? Is it going to be consistent? And so that's been a lot of this.
So the second amendment would add a second new position.
But
Not
it's
to us. No,
not to
we would.
us.
This would be grant money in the form of a contribution to the domestic violence nonprofit organization, and they would use it for that purpose. And she's appropriated here what it would cost for the balance of this year, the $18,600 for them
Starting November 1.
to obtain another person on their staff.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jernigan, second by Commissioner Schaefer. Thank you. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Ball?
Yes?
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
It's a hot button topic.
Highway safety grant, that was next.
Mhm. This is
For drug court.
a request to accept the grant, $58,566.56. It is a federal program that starts October 1 through September 30th. This is a recurring grant. It's already in the budget. We don't typically do it unless we know that the grants are pretty much confident that they will come. So this one, in this case, it's only accepting the grant because the funds are already budgeted.
Is this state or federal?
Federal.
Move to approve.
Motion
Second.
by Commissioner Jernigan, second by Commissioner Schaefer, I believe.
And the funds are already budgeted because we're really confident we're going to get it.
Well, we've gotten this every year for the last
Got that every year.
5-6 years.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Ball?
Yes?
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Approval of Title I grant for the Tennessee Alliance for Children and Families and related budget amendment for juvenile detention. I
This,
guess you're doing that one too.
I'll do this one too. This is,
Everybody's
again,
out
this is
there.
a federal grant. This is one that we did not put in the budget, primarily because we haven't had the track record as we had the other one. So, you know, are we for sure going to, is this going to be recurring? Can we count on it? So this amendment is salaries for only 9 months and then their material. So we're only budgeting $54,847,000 of the grant. And the total grant award, let's see, what is that? I'm trying to get to it. There it goes. $70,979. So we're going ahead and budget. So requesting acceptance of the grant and the budget amendment. 9 months of salary, and then their supplies and instructional supplies, material, contracted services, repair and equipment, other charges.
It's 100% federally funded, no
Yes.
match, correct?
But
No
this is
match.
for part-time personnel.
It's a part-time and a full-time.
And if the grant's no longer available, we may not fund that position.
Right, and Lynn is hedging. She's got somebody who's coming in kind of in a temporary position just in case that happened. Then she knows that it will go.
So this is only for 1 year.
Right, but this is, I think, the third year that we've received it.
Just, yeah, no more than the second or third.
I'll make a motion to approve the grant and what was
The amendment.
it? And the amendment.
Thank you, Commissioner P. Do I hear a second? Commissioner Jernigan. Any further discussion? I do think it's always prudent to tell these people, and I've preached this for years, and we all have, if you're hired off a grant, there's no guarantee your job is permanent. You know, it could go away and whenever that grant expires. I think we've done a pretty good job of relaying that to employees. Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Highway Department.
You know, I feel like this is a grant meeting because it seems like that's all we're doing tonight is all the grants. All right, for the highway department, they notified that they do have monies available for their state street aid project, and there is a match to that. They are anticipating $557,300 more dollars in state revenue to be applied to the state street aid appropriation expense, $837,300, but they are pulling their match amount out of their asphalt line item to balance this. The second amendment is the same, similar thing with the bridge program. They will have $24,000 more dollars available for their bridge program. Again, it's state money coming through to go into their engineering services of $55,000, and they're pulling their match out of their highway equipment.
I'm going to make a motion to approve both of these. I mean, it's always good to get the state aid. And it's, a lot of our roads are improved and those bridges are maintained, so.
Commissioner P and Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
He's done a good job pulling that matching fund out of other accounts, so we don't have to add any.
I think the first one came out of asphalt, and this is actually getting more asphalt, so you're gonna spend it on asphalt anyway, so I think that's a no-brainer, at least my simple mind, so we're all done. Call the roll.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes. Finance Department.
Okay, these first amendments, A and B, have to do with the same thing, and that is that the chairmanship at the Board of Education, their board, Mr. Blair is their new chairman, and the chairman is on our checks. His signature is on our checks. So the first resolution is to, for the facsimile signatures for the county payroll account, and you'll see in the middle where it lists all the folks. We have to do this for everything when you go in and do this. Make one change to one line, it's the whole resolution for everybody. So the only difference in this and the one you've seen before is the change for Wayne Blair as chairman and Terry Hodge was there.
Would it be possible to do A and B at the same time?
You're gonna have to, you can, I mean, but you're gonna have separate resolutions when we get to the commission. You'll have-
But the two resolutions are the exact same, just one for each bank for different, for the same signature change.
The second one has to do with the trustees account at Bank of America and changing those signatories.
I'll entertain a motion.
And B.
Move to approve.
Mr. Jernigan,
A second.
Commissioner Schaefer, thank you. We can just,
Yeah.
we don't need a roll call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? C, resolution to adopt policy and procedures for the home grant from Tennessee Housing Development Agency.
Okay, we've got, and this is already in the budget, this is the home grant money that we received. And this first resolution related to that is the policies and procedures that we will use in determining financial and technical assistance in the rehab program.
Have we had anybody actually,
Applicant eligibility.
applicant and, or get the grant in the last year? I haven't
Yeah,
seen
we
any of those
just
funds.
finished-
We
we just
just
finished
finished
one.
$300,000, I think, yes.
Okay, I didn't remember seeing the funds. I mean, they
It's
flow
been
through
carrying
those.
over. We had a
That's why we
grant and
hadn't seen
it's
them
carried
then.
over, and this is a
Okay.
new one.
All right.
This was $120,000 one. So this resolution is to adopt the policies and procedures that you'll use for
Eligibility and
yeah,
et cetera.
and who qualifies.
A motion to approve the
Commissioner P, thank you.
Second.
Mr. Schaefer. Any further discussion? Now, this is dealing with money we really wanted. When you call the roll,
This is
Policies
policies
and
and procedures.
was $120,000.
That's just noting.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution to approve contract with National Regional Council for personal and professional services.
And this is the resolution to have a contract with Greater Nashville Regional Council to administer the home grant. These are the folks that have taken care of us in all our other years. They're the ones who manage, and they will manage against those policies and procedures that we just adopted. And this 7,200 is already in the budget.
It doesn't come out of the 120,000.
It does come out of the
Yes.
120.
Move to approve.
Mr. Jernigan, thank you.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Pond.
Just out of curiosity, do we have a lot of people seeking to receive these funds for
It's-
home refurbishings?
Not a lot, a few, and we have to, work hard to identify and encourage and communicate so we can get people to apply. With the last 300,000, it took us a bit of effort to get enough but we did get enough projects to use the money.
Do you think that's because people just are not aware of the program?
Yeah, and they're older people, and it's hard to communicate sometimes
It's
or
hard to
with them.
qualify too.
Did you have
In
to
some
open
cases,
home?
it's hard to qualify.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of red tape to go through, a little bit of jumping through
But
hoops,
we-
to say.
GNRC, it holds their hand and helps them with all these applications and really, so if we can just get identified these ones that have need, we can help them get through the process, even though it's a bit cumbersome.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Approval of general fund budget amendment.
Okay, hold on. Mine disappeared.
Down in lieu of taxes.
I got it. Okay, yeah, I'm back with you. All right, we sent the bills out for the different companies that are under pilot agreements. And based on the amount that we get from Nissan and the calculations, we needed to increase the amount that we pay Smyrna for their share of the Nissan contract. But we did have enough funds more coming in than what we had budgeted to match what we were going to have to pay out to Smyrna. So that's an increase of the revenue of $40,200 and then $40,200 for Smyrna.
Money in, money out.
Money in, money out.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer.
Second.
Mr. Jernigan. And something, maybe Commissioner P, a tie there. Call the roll.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Okay.
But all the Nissan money comes to us, and then we pay it back to Smyrna, right?
That's how we've handled for years, the first pilot agreement, but the second agreement with Nissan, they are cutting their check directly to Smyrna.
Report of capital lease.
This is a 3-year lease that you approved during the budget cycle with Brian Robertson for this big mass storage. And this is again one of those you've seen before, that we are really reporting to the state this debt obligation. So we
This
are
is
now
just for
required.
information.
Yep,
No
that you
action
that
required.
you know there's no cost incurred.
Some of that
And I
IT
think-
stuff.
Yes, and he saved $20,000 by doing it this process. I don't know if I'll tell you it was worth the headache.
That's the
to get
place
it,
up
but-
in Smyrna's where it's stored, right?
This is that big thing
This,
that's
this
down-
one stayed here, and the one that was here went to Smyrna, yes, as a redundancy, yeah.
So really, there's no need to have a motion on this. This is more information.
All right. Notice of 2014-15 budget approval.
Okay, on this one, whenever we approve a budget, we have to send the budget to the state to approve. And what they are looking at is making sure that sufficient funds are available to pay your debt, and that the tax generated will pay obligations. Make sure that you don't have a deficit fund balance. That's the other thing they're looking at. So we usually get a letter that says we've approved your budget. It's a very small little notice, but this year is a little different. And this one, they want it to be read, their letter read into the minutes of the next commission meeting. As you can see, the first thing, they've received it, and they've accepted it. But then they would go on and say they've got some considerations, and one is at the bottom. You can say they're concerned with the amount that we have, our budgeted fund balance in GPS. Remember, we budgeted down to 3. And they're concerned that you take 1/12 of appropriations, and we won't have sufficient funds to pay. So they are, on the next page, they're asking us to give them, to analyze our cash requirements and send them a copy by December 1st. And they also have an issue with our federal projects. You don't really see that because in your resolution, the Board of Education deals directly with the state or directly with the federal government with those funds. Well, not state, federal through the state money. Some of you will remember, I don't know if Commissioner Baum was on board at the time, but that's money, a lot of it's payroll and training, and they're having to get the money in and send it out. Sometimes there's a lag. So the commission authorized $1 million out of the GPS budget into the federal funds budget to provide cash flow. So we would not have a deficit cash situation. Okay, so if you go on into that table 1, you show that estimated beginning fund balance for the GPS at $22 million. Their little analysis is that we will have issues, that we'll have problems. The next page is Mr. Sandvig's response to this letter, which basically says we've got $1 million in the federal projects. That shouldn't be a problem. On the GPS, they are saying that you spend 1/12 of the money every month, but that's not how it happens. If you go to the next page, is a statement of our cash flow demonstrating that we should have sufficient cash to come in to pay our monthly obligations. And our appropriations are spread in this based on the percentage of appropriations that we spend per month. And the revenue is spread based on how we get the money. So
I see what their concern is, but I thought that it was the state that asked us to keep 3% in fund balance, 3% of
they say that's the minimum.
the minimum. It just seems to me like if they're giving us a 3% minimum figure, that then it's a little inconsistent for them to turn around and give us a different figure. If they think that 8.3% is more appropriate, it seems like that would be their minimum. We're doing what they say, and then
I
this letter
agree.
is sort of a.
I agree, but I think what they're trying with it, we know how we are in Rutherford County, but when you look at the state of Tennessee, and that's their focus, is the state of Tennessee, and you've got some governments who run a lot leaner, not leaner, but by the skin of their teeth than what we do. And there are some counties that really have got some issues where they're borrowing money to operate. And this is making them do this cash flow analysis is a method that they're trying to say, see, you're gonna have a problem here.
Don't we have a better bond rating than the state of Tennessee right now?
Well, we got this,
But I think
the
it's
same.
the same.
But doesn't Mr. Sandvik's last full paragraph take a kind of a bite at the state on the standpoint? The way I read that is if they would fund what they're requiring us to do with the amounts that they're supposed to, we wouldn't be, according to the state, in the shape we're in.
But the statement of cash flow analysis that he gives shows that we have more than adequate balance.
Yeah.
Even until the month of June, that's the lowest number at 10 million, and that's still above 3%.
What is the teeth behind
That's
this?
cash.
What if they?
There's no teeth.
There's no teeth. This isn't an audit finding, it isn't a
So
bond
audit
rating.
finding, they're pretty much just saying, hey, the way I take it is, hey, we think you might have problems. Show
But-
us
But,
show us that you know
but what?
whether or not
If
you do.
they don't accept Mr. Sandvik's response, then what's the downside? Will that affect our bond rating? Will that, affect anything?
I really think it's just alert
Okay.
and treating
so-
us no different than,
So
than
this
they would
isn't something we
anybody
need to
else.
worry about changing our policy tomorrow to fix this letter.
No.
Going from 3% to 8% fund balance would,
When you've got a $300
oh,
million
that would
budget.
be, that's a chunk of change to hit the taxpayers up
They
for.
want us to notify all the commissioners and the public of just their opinion about this, and we have to read this whole thing into the minutes.
Well, let me just say, here it is.
Here it is, and we'll
And
we'll
it will
attach
make
it to the
part of
minutes.
Well, Ms. Nolan will be glad to read it at the commission.
Well, I just like this last sentence that says, we would like to move away from this reliance on fund balance, but we need funding that at least matches or exceeds student enrollment growth. And I felt that he was saying there, the way I read it, is the state isn't quite supplying that. Their fair share of that.
Little stick in there. maybe.
Yeah, that's all.
Good job there. Put that in there.
We appreciate your efforts, Mr.
I
Sandvik.
got a lengthy call from Ron Queen about my response.
Oh, you
Oh,
did?
Oh, yeah, half an hour.
Yeah. Good on you, mate.
Well, this is just for information only, right?
And we've sent, as he said, we've already sent this to the state.
Is that all on that? It's down to other business. We have any other business? Well, we made it through our first budget meeting without Joyce Haley, who would have ever thought it would work.
I do have one thing to mention about this weekend, and that's the ham breakfast at Laverne Rescue Squad. And this is for all Rutherford Countyans out there. They do accept debit and credit cards
At the ham breakfast?
At the ham breakfast,
How
yeah.
about that?
Big time.
Any other public service announcements to make before we adjourn?
Kidwas is on the 18th, so we'll wait a while.
Do that at commission meeting, right?
We are adjourned. Thank you.
All right, good work.